it's really on the woman to take responsibility for a man's reaction to your body and how you look. I couldn't help that I have a tiny waist and a big butt. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and a new video from me. This is the first video that I'm recording in 2021. It is my birthday month and the sun was shining, so I was feeling extra energized today, and I really hope that you feel good as well. Today's video is a little bit different from my previous ones. It's going to be about sugar baby and sugar daddy culture in Tanzania. This was a topic that I wanted to talk about like a year ago, or more so I wanted to talk about cheating culture in Africa. But I just left that on the shelf. But now that I discovered the dating coach community on YouTube and leveling up content and the concept of high value man, and saying that out loud always makes me chuckle. But when I found that, it made me think and revisit the ideas that of having this video about sugar daddy and sugar baby culture. So that's what I'm going to talk about today in this video, share my reflections and thoughts, and you can share your comments down below in a respectful way, and let's have a conversation. So sugar dating or sugaring is a transactional dating practice that is typically characterized by a wealthier older person engaging in a relationship with a younger person who is in need of financial assistance in a mutual beneficial relationship. Over the years, I've seen a lot of these relationship dynamics in Tanzania, and a lot of my friends from other African countries have witnessed the same thing. Sugar mommies do also exist in Tanzania, but not to the same extent as sugar daddies. And my cousin actually told me about a phenomenon called kibenten, which refers to, I don't remember if it was either the sugar mommy or the younger guy that she's dating is called kibenten, basically from the cartoon Ben 10. Anyway, my cousin told me that younger men dating older women is increasing, and they get gifts, they get money, they get phones, whatever, and it's increasing because apparently these women are tired of their men being outside, their husbands cheating and showering college girls with gifts, so they also want to go out and have fun. I used to watch this really cool show called An African City, which is basically an African version of Sex and the City, where we get to follow 5 women who are returning to Ghana. So in one of the episodes, the women are discussing sugar daddies and whether they have them or not. It was an interesting episode and just showed how prevalent this practice really is in a lot of African countries.
Why don't you just go to Ghana Home Loans?
Okay, yeah. Is that how you both got your apartments?
No, daddy.
Sugar daddy.
My real daddy.
My real sugar daddy.
Oh, sugar daddy, huh? All right, tell.
That's what I said. The answer to every woman's problems. They're so-called uncles.
So hold up. You mean to tell me that a man bought you a $500,000 apartment?
Yeah.
You had to sleep with him, didn't you?
I am sure they didn't just hold hands.
Was he married?
I've had men here buy me everything and anything. I mean, from purses to cars. Those relationships were platonic and will always remain platonic.
Yeah, but do you accept their offers?
Yeah, purses, yes, hell yeah. But cars, no. I figure there's a limit.
Oh, please, take the cars. The sky's the limit.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Who's to say where to draw the line?
There is no line.
The limit.
Hey, there is a line. It is all wrong. It's just plain wrong.
Oh, please.
Exchange for sex. How does it make it any different than being a prostitute?
It's not in exchange for sex. The sex is just a perk.
I love that show. You should definitely go and check season 1, which is on YouTube. So from what I have seen and heard in Tanzania, the sugar baby culture is extra prevalent in college students. So a lot of college students, they are burdened with higher tuition fees, bills, getting food on the table, getting supplies, and really it's hard getting all of that money. So having a sugar daddy or a sponsor, as they call it, or a blesser is another phrase for these sugar daddies, is helpful for these women, most of the times it's women, to get help with their financial situation. All they have to give in exchange is their time, their attention, and a lot of times their bodies. For a lot of these women, it's worth it rather than staying on the streets, being prostitutes and having different men all the time, and also having like the companionship of an older man who can give you things whenever you need it. The interesting part to me is that Tanzania is quite a religious country. Whether you're a Muslim or a Christian, you have some type of faith, and that doesn't really coincide with the sugar baby, sugar daddy culture, but still it's so prevalent and it's quite open. You go into restaurants and you just see a whole of a lot older men going out with a young woman, and I'm just like, wait, here you are preaching about not doing this or that, what's morally right and what's morally wrong, but then this is just happening all up in the open. So I've taken out my computer so we can get some trusty numbers here. In 2018, Bosara Center for Behavioral Economics conducted a study for BBC Africa in which they questioned 252 female students on whether they've had a sponsor before or not. And 20% of the participants said that they had had sponsors before. This is a small sample size, and they believe that there are some hidden numbers in there. Actually, when the participants were asked about how they see their friends engaging in this type of thing, it came out that they believe approximately 24% of their peers had before engaged in transactional dating with older men. It's a very interesting study where you can read a lot of these women's stories, so I'm going to post the link to the study down below. But what I found interesting was that some women really insist that it's not only about sex and wanting things, it's also about, you know, making connection with these older men. Some of them it's friendship, they want companionship, they talk with each other, they ask, how was your day at school? Or, oh, I'm so tired of my wife, or whatever, because a lot of the times these sponsors are married men. But it was interesting because one of the phrases was, they help you sometimes, but it's not always about sex. It's like they just want company. They want someone to talk to. So there's definitely another layer to sugar dating, which is more so than just prostitution. But to some extent, I do believe that some of these women are mind tricking themselves to think that it is more of a relationship than just transactional. However, it's not just college girls who have these so-called sponsors or blessers. It's actually creeping lower down into the ages. It can be high school students, and their blessers could be the picky guy, basically the motorcycle guy at the kiosk, or the guy who's owning the little shop. They're not necessarily super wealthy, but compared to the schoolgirl, they have a little bit of money. They can give you some chipsy, they can give you some cookies, they can give you like a couple of coins, a little bit of money. And for somebody who's a high school girl who might be coming from very humble places, that little extra money does something. And that's what is really disturbing, is that this widespread sugar baby or sugar daddy culture also goes down to high school kids or even younger than that. Basically, as soon as you start developing breasts, you're gonna have vultures attacking you and basically bothering you all the time. And when you are in a very vulnerable, financial vulnerable position, having somebody giving you some chipsy or whatever, that can actually lure you into engaging in things that you wouldn't have done otherwise. This type of behavior also happens a lot in the workplace. I myself have gotten through it several times. So when I was 22, I did a semester abroad in Tanzania and I had an internship, and so much fun. But I had an internship in a governmental office, and it was good. But there was this one man there who would always look at me creepy, and he would look at me up and down like he was eating me up, and he felt like his stare was staring right through my clothes. It was so uncomfortable. It was so disgusting. But as a young girl, as a young woman, I decided I didn't want to make any drama. And also, which HR office is going to be for me to complain to? There was none. Or if there was, I don't know if they would take me seriously. So I really didn't have any channels to go through to do the complaints, even going to superiors, bosses. I feel like I would have gotten the response of shrug it off, ignore it, whatever, because a lot of times in these cultures where they have old traditional gender roles, it's really on the woman to take responsibility for a man's reaction to your body and how you look. I couldn't help that I have a tiny waist and a big butt, because that's just how I look like. And everybody, I really liked how Tanzanian women dress for work. They always have these cute little pencil skirts, nice blouses, always looking good. And for me, I just wanted to dress frumpy because I didn't like the attention. But yeah, I had really no one to go to, and also the power dynamic was way off in his favor, because I'm the intern here. If I was of if I was living in Tanzania, I would probably want to have a job after the internship, so it doesn't look good for me to create drama in the office. So me being me, I was just polite and trying to dodge the man as much as possible. But sometimes we would run into each other in the hallways because he wasn't really working in my office, but he was working in the same building. So whenever we would run into each other in the hallways or we were alone in whatever office, he would always try to ask me out for lunch, for dinner, for drinks. And one time he was like, you know what, let's take a weekend trip. Have you ever been to Zanzibar? At that time I had not been to Zanzibar. And I was like, wow, Zanzibar would be cool. But it never crossed my mind that I wanted to go with this man because he was in his mid-30s, maybe late 30s. I was 22. He was a married man with children. I would definitely not want to go with him anywhere. Also, I was not a dummy. I knew, of course, if you're taking me to Zanzibar, you're gonna expect me to do something that I don't want to do with you. So it wasn't hard for me to say no, but I just had to do it in a smooth way where I didn't create drama in the relationship. And again, isn't it sad how I have to take responsibility on how he acts towards me, and I have to make sure my reaction is calm so I don't offend him when he's the one harassing me. So I insisted I come to Zanzibar with him, but I just didn't want to. That was my first experience, I believe, of being treated like a sugar baby. Basically him throwing offers of me like meals, drinks, a little rinky-dinky trip, and think that he would get me. That was quite offensive because it made me feel objectified. It made me feel like a piece of meat. Like, oh, you think that I'm that easy that I just need a little trip to Zanzibar and then you'll have me while you're a married man? No, thank you. You are a disgrace, sir. You are a disgrace. Those type of offers never really appealed to me because you don't feel special. You just feel like a sugar baby, and oftentimes a sugar baby is one of many. You're not the only one. The man has lots of them behind, and I don't want to feel like that. So yeah, I'm not gonna fall for your offers of trips. And that, of course, you could see as a privilege on my side because I don't have to date thinking only financially. Even though I'm far from rich, I don't have to worry about my next meal or having a roof over my head. So that gives me the choice to say no, thank you. I think that social media is also a major reason for the uptake of this sugar baby, sugar daddy culture, because people are watching their favorite celebrities in Kenya and Tanzania getting all these things, from being like living in a slum to getting their body fixed, hanging out with the biggest stars, getting their businesses invested in so that they can start and launch a business and become successful entrepreneurs. But it all started, of course, with them showing off their bodies and having sponsors and blessers. And seeing that becomes an aspiration for a lot of women in the African continent, and like, okay, I can get out of my situation if I have a sponsor.
And I'm an actress. I want to become famous and have a good life. I need to be a star. I need to be a celebrity. It's my dream. Working hard is doing anything. As long as you're earning money, you're taking care of your responsibilities. I have a male friend, and I call him and tell him, I want to pay for my house and I only have money for shopping. I don't have money for rent. Can you help me? Having that one person, that's better than selling your body, like standing somewhere in the street. To me personally, I prefer the sponsor thing, yeah. I'm only looking for that sponsor because I need a future for my music. If my dad or my mom had that cash and they helped me, I wouldn't even be looking for a sponsor. If I don't make sacrifice, then I won't try something. If I get someone who is willing to help me, if he's asking me to sleep with him, I will.
Some of them want fame, some of them want careers, some of them just want simple things as phone, get their hair done, get a car or an apartment. So it's really different, but it's really also fueled by vanity and desire for what they see on social media. It's a lot about hustle culture. You see all this hustle culture on the internet of these women, very sexy, hot women who have businesses and all of these, and it shows like, okay, if I have a hot body, if I have the looks, I can get a sponsor who is willing to invest money in me and my dreams. So this sugar baby, sugar daddy culture, in one hand, can be seen as empowering to women because at least they can decide that if they're going to expose their bodies, at least they get something for it. And you do it with 1 or 2, 3 steady partners instead of running the streets with so many different people. And these partners that you're going steady with, you have a little bit more of a relationship, just straight up transactional. You actually sometimes talk and have some type of friendship there, and it might feel somehow safer to have that girlfriend boyfriend experience, even though the man or the woman are married. But there are also negative sides with this explosion of sugar baby, sugar daddy, mommy culture in Africa. And I'm going to look down at my notes again. Dr. Joyce Wamoyi from the National Institute for Medical Research in Tanzania says that girls and young women between the ages of 15 and 24 have consistently been at higher risks of HIV infection than any other section of the population in sub-Saharan Africa. So basically, these sugar relationships are contributing to higher levels of HIV among these young women, because these sugar daddies will insist to not wear condoms because it's like a relationship, right? You keep seeing each other. But these sugar daddies have several sugar babies, and these sugar babies have several sugar daddies. So that just spreads the disease, at least with prostitution, because it's more of an explicit buying, selling sex. It's more easier for the men to use condoms, whereas sugar relationships is actually somehow a relationship. So the men will insist, we don't have to use condoms, it's okay. And the women, of course, since the power dynamic is there, they don't have as much of a choice to say no, because then they won't get that money that they need for their next meal or their next tuition. Women in sugar relationship also risk facing violence from their sugar daddies. You just have to look at any Kenyan tabloid or Tanzanian tabloid line, and it will be like sugar baby stabbed to death by her daddy, sponsored threatens lover to death, pretty 20-year-old girl killed by her sugar daddy. And that's really what I fear about transactional relationships, because even though sugar relationships are to be a little bit more of a loose game than prostitution, because with prostitution, when you put your money in, you know what you're going to get at the end of the night. But with sugar relationships, it's really should be the discretion of the women if they're going to give up their bodies or not. But really, it's not like that. You have to give something, right? Because men are not giving you stuff for nothing. Maybe some people can manage to get certain things without, sleeping with these men. But you never know which type of man you're gonna end up having as a sugar daddy, right? Some sugar daddies might be kind of like, oh, okay, it's a gamble. I'm giving her this money or giving her this car or phone, and maybe she'll give me something after that, and we'll continue seeing each other. And if nothing happens, some sugar daddies, they'll be disappointed but move on. While others will actually feel entitled to your body and get really angry if you don't give them what they wanted, and kill you if you don't do it or hurt you. So for me, I feel like it's a dangerous game going into these sugar relationships, because you don't know what kind of man you're gonna end up finding. It might be somebody who very much believes that he is entitled to your body just because he gave you a couple of meals or drinks or whatever. That's why I swear I'm so afraid of accepting things from men, because if you take a drink, then they think they can talk with you all night and perhaps take you home. And I don't want to deal with that. So I really just most of the time say no. It's too much work and too much risk. I think that the sugar dating culture is very interesting to observe in Africa, and in Kenya it has sparked a lot of intense debate. I haven't really seen the same in Tanzania, even though it happens just as much in Tanzania. So it would be interesting to see how people are going to approach this thing of where women taking autonomy of their bodies and deciding what to do with it, and sugar dating being quite open, how that is going to be reconciled with a quite conservative culture where you're not supposed to do these things. On social media, I am seeing a segment of young, free Tanzanian women who are outspoken, who are into art, who are into business, who are doing all these things and being very independent and having strong voices. And it's so awesome to see, but the reality is that majority of people in Tanzania are living in poverty, and the wealth gap between the different classes is just increasing, and the poor ones still have access to see social media and see the fame and money that some women are catapulted in because of how they show their bodies and having sponsors. So I wonder how this is going to end, because I can see from a feminist viewpoint that it is empowering for women to be able to use their bodies as they want and at least get something for exposing their bodies. And I can see that the fact that a woman is making a choice is empowering, but the question is, how much of a free choice is this entering sugar dating? Because again, as I said, a lot of people in Tanzania are still poor, so when they go into it, it's not so much of a free choice, but it's like between life and death. It's a choice between life and death, because either I cannot have my next meal, feed my kid, and take them to school and pay their tuition or pay my own tuition, or I can sleep with this old man and get some cash and some help and financial stability. And that's not so much of a free choice, but that's just what I think. What do you guys think? Please comment down below in the comment section, respectfully please. If you did like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you want to see more, subscribe to my channel. I'm going to put all the links that I've researched down below so you can read the articles and the studies as well. Thank you so much for watching as always, and hopefully I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys!